Hey, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I know it's been a bit. It's been a busy summer, a lot of stuff going on. But anyways, the scraping is done, finally. Yeah, a more experienced person could probably knock it out in a quarter of the time that it took me, but I'm feeling much more comfortable with the process now, and I'm really happy with the results. I think it came out pretty good. It was a lot to film, so I only filmed a little bit of scraping, and I'm probably only going to show a couple short clips of that, probably in the time-lapse mode. And I've got some of the highlights and some of the measurements that we did. Overall, the machine was in really good shape, required very little. The saddle did require some adjustments, not much, but just a little bit. We'll do a quick little walk around right after the video because I did do a few things off camera that I didn't show. So let's go ahead and watch the footage and then we'll come back and look at this stuff. All right, doing a little pre-check and a little bit of pre-planning. Yeah, pre-planning is something that's strange to me. Why would I want to do that? So this is looking pretty good. So we're checking the saddle versus the alignment to the knee. That looks really good. We know that we did this, the top of the saddle is flat. We have a really good, or a pretty good print from the surface plate. So that looks good. All right. Now let me carefully slide this back because I don't have enough room here. Okay. I may have bumped this a little bit because I was getting a lot closer than that front to back. Let me zero it for you guys. There we go. So side to side, drifting off a little bit on this direction. So that would be a little high. Over here it's running pretty good. Okay. A little bit low over there. Okay, so we've got a little bit to do, but it's not horrible. So what I'm thinking, if the table is off like such, one way or the other, it will be much easier to address that here in the saddle because we would only have to modify these two surfaces rather than dealing with these long ones up here or possibly the underside of the table. Okay, same thing if it's off, you know, front to back. Well, that's the only way we could adjust the front to back. Well, I guess you could do it here and here, but yeah, much easier to address this stuff in the saddle rather than the table itself or the top surface. Okay, here's something else I noticed that's not good. So we got a little bit of rock on our dovetail here. It's not horrible. Actually, it's worse down at this end. How's it back here? Okay, so that may be an issue on the knee itself. All right, so I'm gonna have to look into that. All right, that's just a couple of passes. It came right in. And we did find a couple scratches in here that were existing. It's funny how you can't see them until you start scraping. I'm going to do an alignment check before we do anything else. We're going to have to make some adjustments to the saddle. Just doing some more checking here, kind of midway through. So I've got it sitting on parallels. These are some really good parallels, and I've checked them with the surface gauge to each other, and overall everything is within 1/10 of a thou on these parallels. So that's our 0. If we come around to this end, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see if, yeah, we're still okay. So we're 7/10 high over here on this end. And then our worst case is over here on this corner or end. This one, I'm calling it 15/10 or 1.5 thousandths high over here. Okay. And then if we continue around over to here, this corner or end is about 7/10 high. And then if we come back on around, just make sure we're still on 0. Yes, and we are. Okay. So I'm going to continue to scrape these flat because until we get it flat all the way across, things are going to change. And once we get that flat, then we'll work on the underside. So on the underside is where we'll make our adjustments. At least that's plan A for now. So I'll have to, and right now these are flat. We've already scraped them flat and parallel to each other, so they're on the same plane. But we're going to have to come back in here and make our adjustments here on the bottom. This awesome works really good, but it's hard on the hand, so that's why I got the glove on my right hand. At some point you just gotta call it good, so I'm calling it. I do have a little bit of a bozo. So I was reading with the test indicator, you know, back in the very bottom of the dovetail back here, and I had the test indicator upside down. I was tired. I was reading it wrong. I thought I was high, so I took a heavy pass, you know, right in the root there, and I took too much. And I've been trying to bring everything down to, you know, to try to bring that back into contact, but I'm done. It's good enough. We got a lot of surface area, so I'm not too worried about it. What I'm going to do next is relieve a little area, both sides, so that we have our primary contact is on the outer corners. So I'm not going to do a lot, probably just 2 passes. There it is, how it prints with the relief area. I don't know why we're heavy here. I might do it one more time. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys where we're at. I think we're done. So this has been a struggle to try to keep the 2 different planes parallel and get this flat at the same time. It's you know, you gain on one and you lose on the other. So this was our old 0 region here. Okay, this is the one that we really struggled with, this corner, for some reason. I don't know why it fought us so much, but we're between 1/10 and about 2/10. in the worst spots. But I'm done. I'm done fighting this thing. So we're going to call it good. I've been doing this off camera, guys. Figured you'd probably getting tired of seeing scraping. But I'm working on the tabletop. So I've been taking a lot of heavy passes and we're getting closer. This is low all in here. Got a little bit of low over here and a few spots, you know, random spots, but I got to bring a lot of it down to get this in line. Alright guys, I'm not making a surface plate, it's just a machine table. So I'm going to call this good enough. I might print it one more time. I know this is not high here, so I think it's just the ink was too thick right there. I've been working on this all day long. It's almost 5 o'clock, so you know what that means. So I'm going to print it one more time, and I think we're going to call it. Okay, I did hit a couple other spots on there and did a reprint. I'm calling it good enough, guys. Alright, so I am checking to see if our saddle is in alignment this way with the knee, primarily the back of the knee, which is aligned by the column. Okay, and I don't have a lot of faith in my measurement system. I'm only looking to see if something is really out of whack. I'm going on faith that we're in pretty good shape to start with. So what I'm doing, I have a nice parallel. I'm holding it against the surface that we've scraped flat and parallel on the back of the knee, like this, and I've got a pin over here. So and I've done this about a dozen times already. So I'm measuring, holding this parallel, using a mic, and I'm going to have to put my head in the way here, but I'm making sure that the face of the anvil is nice and flat to the parallel while I'm holding the parallel down and centered on the pin. Okay, and I've done this back and forth several times between here and here, of course moving the pin down, and it's within a thou most of the time when I measure it. Okay, so like I say, I don't really trust this method of measuring. We'll probably check it again once we get the table on here, but I want to see how this dovetail is coming in or looking, because I haven't done anything to this dovetail at all, or the one over here on this side. This is the one I'm really worried about right now. Believe it or not, it's getting better. Yeah, I've got some work to do on this edge, so the gib angle and the dovetail angle are not matching perfectly. So I've got to take some more off that bottom. Starting to look better, it's heading in the right direction. It's worrisome when you're scraping and nothing's happening. You still keep getting the same pattern over and over again. So we're getting there. It's getting better. I'm going to call this good enough. It's certainly way better than what we started with. And let me show you our rub pattern over here on the, if you guys can see that, where we've been rubbing the blue off. And of course I redo this every time, but it's I'm going to call that in the sweet spot. So I think we're okay. Yeah, I want to leave some material available in case we've got to do any tweaking in our final checks and assembly. Let me show you how this gib works. It's kind of strange. This gib is kind of a strange animal, and I haven't seen one like this before. So if you guys have been watching Max Grant, he's been rebuilding that Dean Smith and Grace lathe, and it had or has some similar looking wedge gibs like this, but they work different than these. The one he has, the through bolts are designed to clamp the gib all the way down tight, and then it's got some adjusting screws that come in the back. So you use those adjusting screws to set your clearance, and then you lock it down with the through bolts. This one doesn't work that way, at least not what I've been able to figure out. And I might be totally out to lunch on this, but this is my theory. So this one, as you can see, I've scraped the back a little bit. So this one works like a wedge. So we've got a machined flat surface back here. So this gib is captive, and you tighten up these adjusting screws or hold down screws, whatever you want to call them, to take up that clearance, as the dovetail part starts to wedge in, and that's how you set your clearance. And when I've been checking this, there is a gap on this side. There's about 25 thousandths clearance, so it doesn't go all the way down, and I'm pretty sure that's by design. Okay. The other reason I'm saying that is this is the locking clamp right here, and I think this is the right one. It goes in here. So when you want to lock the saddle, it actually sucks the gib down tighter and uses up any clearance that's in there. So a couple issues that I had. The first issue is the back of this was not flat, so I had to get that flat. I only took the minimal off because I didn't want to use up any unnecessary clearance. So I got it flat enough, okay? And then the other thing I noticed is we were binding on these screws, and particularly the one in the middle was this way a little bit too much, so it was actually kind of bending the gib slightly, like a banana, and I was only getting contact in the center. So what I did is I opened these all up. I opened up the clearance hole one size, and I opened up the counterbore slightly. I don't know if I would call it one size, but I just opened them up a little bit, so we've got a little bit of room for movement on the adjusting screws. So anyways, that's my theory on how this is supposed to work. And not being 100% sure, that's why I don't want to take any more off of here than we already have, just in case I'm totally going the wrong direction. I've thoroughly cleaned the table, and remember, we've already scraped the top surface, which is underneath us right now. Stoned everything, did a thorough cleaning of the surface plate, and now I'm just kind of mapping out what we have, because we're going to be working on the flatways for the table. So you can see I've already mapped it all out, and so these are all in tenths. We got 0 here, 3/10 high here, 8/10 high back here, 3/10 high over here, 6/10 and 5/10. So I'm gonna off camera probably work out a plan to step scrape this, starting with the high areas first, and then we'll come back and measure again. I've been doing a lot of work off camera just to try to make some progress. It just takes so long when you're trying to film. So on our table, I believe where we left off, I was scraping in the underside of the ways here, and those are all done. We've remeasured the distance here, on the surface plate, and we're in good shape. Okay, so all that's done. And then I came in and I measured over pins our dovetail width, and let's see if we can get this to show up. So this is just the reading off the barrel of the mic. So I had 743 thousandths, 743 thousandths, 743 and 5/10 thousandths. So I'm happy with the geometry of the dovetail. So all I did, I just came in and did a one pass in each direction scrape on our dovetail, just for oil retention, and give it a little bit of bearing surface. I did both of them. That's all we're going to do. Those are good. And I did check them with the straight edge. I did hit a couple little minor high spots. I mean, they were nothing to speak of. But yeah, so they're flat, parallel, textured. We're good. All right. All right, and then over here on the saddle, I did the same thing. I measured over pins, our inside dimension, and I used a planer gauge for the spacer and just a micrometer, and did it multiple times very carefully. Same thing, I just the reading on the barrel, 800 thousandths and 2/10, 800 thousandths and 1/10. So good, I'm not doing anything there. Okay. Let's see, did I scrape in that? Oh no, I still got to do that. I still got to scrape in the inside of this dovetail, and it'll be the same thing, just for oil and bearing surface, by one pass in each direction. I'll do that off camera. So right now I'm looking at our gib. So let's go to the bench. Just going handheld here. Don't want to set the tripod up. So yeah, so here's the running side of that gib, and out of all the surfaces that we've been dealing with, this one probably has the most wear, but it's still very minimal. I can just barely feel an edge on here, mainly more on this side. Yeah, but it's minimal. So we'll get that cleaned up, and we're going to do a scrape and check for flatness. And then here's the static side, and they were using, you can see these guys, they were using cup pointed set screws for adjusting the gib, and I don't like that, so I ordered some dog points. So what I want to do now is put a little spot face, little counterbore spot face in all these locations. And I've already, you can probably see, there's a punch mark there. I've already gone through with the transfer punch and marked all these. So let's go over to the milling machine. We're just going to come in with an end mill and just give them a little spot face. Alrighty, well here's our setup. So I've got our Joe Pye mini pallet in here at an angle, and I just used a 30-degree angle block, a couple parallels on top of the vise just to set the angle. That's going to be good enough for what we're doing. And we're going to use an old school Starrett wiggler just to line up on our transfer marks and do the spot face. Alright, let me get you on a tripod. well, that worked out pretty good. And I just did it all by eye. It was the easiest way to do it. I don't know if you can tell, but I also, while you guys weren't looking, I came in with a chamfering tool on each one and just put a little chamfer with a 45-degree chamfer tool. And you can see I hit bottom with the point of that tool, trying to get as much as I could. Yeah, so that way we have a little extra clearance for the threads, just to make sure they don't hit. And you'll have to take my word for it. I looked through all these holes with the light, and everything's lining up perfectly with the gib. Okay, everything's together. I've got our gib just snugged up, and I've already slid this back and forth a couple of times. Okay, feels pretty good. All right, now we'll take it off and see how it's marking. Ah, so close. So yeah, I'm good on these. These are fine. I don't know if you can see there's enough contact there. It's fine. And then the gib, I had cleaned the gib completely off and blued up the V-way, so a little too much ink, but I'm good with that. It's going to be fine. The inside dovetail here, I've got to work on that a little bit. We're not getting good enough contact on that, so I'm going to work on that off camera. Okay, I'm a little nervous about this part because I got the supervisor watching every move. I got a wood dowel in there just so I don't crash into the dovetail, and I got the machine set pretty slow. Hard to see with all this glare and without any contrast on there, but okay, I'm good with that. Alright, so what you didn't see in the video, I did tune up these dovetails just a little bit. It was tight at the bottom here, the spacing, so I gave that a little bit of a tune up. The saddle, I don't think I showed in the video. I did relieve the center here, not a big area, but about that much, 2 passes. And the tabletop, I believe we did show it, but yeah, we flaked the tabletop. Originally I was going to leave it just as scraped, but after looking at the other flaking, I decided I was going to go ahead and flake this as well. Our gibs are all ready to go, blah blah blah. Yep. Okay, one thing I'm going to do in the next video, well, I don't know if I'll film it or not, but I'm gonna drill and tap a few holes in here for an apron to cover the ways. We may not get around to doing that right away, but at least it'll be drilled and tapped for that. Yeah, I think that's it. We got a whole lot of parts to paint. Yeah, I know how you guys love painting, so I'll probably just do most of that off camera, along with some body work that we got to do to kind of smooth things up a little bit. Alrighty, we will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.